October 11, 1969, a quiet night in San Francisco. A cab driver was making his way through the city streets with his final passenger of the night. A few minutes later, his cab was found parked on the side of the road. The driver had been shot and killed, but the most terrifying part was yet to come. The killer took a piece of the victim's bloodstained shirt with him before walking away. 2 days later, that same piece of bloodstained shirt arrived at a newspaper office. It came with a letter where the writer claimed the responsibility for the murder. This was the moment the police realized they weren't dealing with an ordinary criminal, but a killer who was playing a twisted game with them and the media. And this man became known to the world as the Zodiac Killer. But the question still remains, who was he? Over 50 years have passed. The police officially linked 5 murders to him. Mysterious ciphers, letters sent to the police, phone calls, and threats. A killer who managed to stay one step ahead of the law every single time. To this day, not the FBI, not the San Francisco police, nor any other agency has been able to prove his true identity. Today, we are going to dive into the complete story of the Zodiac Killer, based only on the facts that came out during the investigation. This case takes place in the state of California. The main events happened between 1968 and 1969. The first attack was in Benicia, then Vallejo, Lake Berryessa, and finally San Francisco. According to the police, 5 people died in these attacks, while 2 others miraculously survived despite severe injuries. But what made this case famous worldwide wasn't just the murders, it was the letters the killer sent to the newspapers and the police. That was where he first called himself Zodiac. The victims were not all the same. One was a high school student, another was in college, one was a waitress, and one was a cab driver. There was no connection found between these people to suggest they knew each other beforehand. Most of the attacks happened at night, in isolated areas, with very few people around. That's exactly why the initial investigation proved to be incredibly difficult for the police. December 20th, 1968, around 11:15 p.m., 17-year-old David Faraday and 16-year-old Betty Lou Jensen were out on their first date. They were parked in their car on Lake Herman Road. It was a very secluded spot. After a while, another car pulled up behind them. Nobody saw what happened next because there were no witnesses. But according to the police investigation, the attacker first shot David Faraday in the head. After that, Betty Lou Jensen tried to run for her life, but she was shot 5 times in the back. Both died at the scene. During the investigation, police found 22 caliber shell casings at the crime scene. At the time, nobody had any idea that this was just the beginning. A few months later, another similar attack was about to happen. And that is when the name of a mysterious serial killer would surface for the very first time. The police were still investigating this first murder when, about 7 months later, another couple was attacked. But this time, one person survived, and his testimony was about to change the entire direction of the case. July 4th, 1969, around 11:55 p.m., Darlene Ferrin and Michael Majot were sitting in their car. Suddenly, a car pulled up next to them. It drove away a few seconds later, but shortly after, that same car came back. This time, a man stepped out. He was holding a flashlight. He shined the flashlight directly into the car, and without any warning, opened fire with a 9mm pistol. Darlene Ferrin was killed, but Michael Majot, despite being severely injured, survived. Now the police started to think that this attack might be connected to the first one, but they still had no suspect, no name, no face, and no clear motive. Shortly after the attack, on July 5th, 1969, around 12:40 a.m., the Vallejo police received a phone call. The man on the phone took responsibility for the Blue Rock Springs attack. Not only that, he also claimed that he was the one behind the double murder on Lake Herman Road. The caller's voice was completely calm. He gave all the details without any sign of panic. The call ended, but now the police were facing a new challenge. Was the same person really behind both cases? So far, there had been 2 attacks. 3 people were dead, and 1 had survived. But the real game was just about to begin. A few weeks later, 3 major American newspapers were going to receive identical, mysterious letters. Those letters contained the code that the world couldn't fully solve for 51 years. August 1st, 1969, 3 local California newspapers received identical letters. A mysterious code with 408 symbols was sent along with each letter. The writer claimed that he was responsible for the murders. He also threatened that if the newspapers didn't publish his letter, he would kill more people. It was in these letters that he called himself Zodiac for the very first time. At first, nobody could read the code sent in these letters. But on August 8th, 1969, a teacher couple named Donald and Betty Harden finally cracked it. The code said that he liked killing people, because to him, it was fun. This message sent a wave of panic across America. Up until now, Zodiac had only been shooting from a distance. But a few weeks later, he changed his method, and this time, he appeared in front of his victims with his face hidden. September 27th, 1969, around 6:15 p.m., Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were having a picnic by the edge of Lake Berryessa. Suddenly, a man appeared, walking toward them. He was wearing a black executioner's hood. The hood had the Zodiac's cross and circle symbol on it. Brian Hartnell was later able to give the police a full description of his outfit because he survived the attack. The attacker tied them both up and then stabbed them with a knife. Brian Hartnell was severely wounded, but he lived. Cecilia Shepard passed away from her injuries after reaching the hospital. This was the first time Zodiac used a knife instead of a gun. After the attack, the killer walked over to Brian's car. He used a black marker to write the dates of the previous attacks on the car door. Not only that, He also drew his famous Zodiac symbol. This became a crucial piece of evidence for the police. Sometime after the attack, the police received another phone call. The caller took responsibility for this attack as well. By now, the police were almost certain that a single person was behind all these events. Up to this point, Zodiac had not only targeted isolated areas, but a few days later, he committed a crime that completely shifted the investigation. This time, he killed right in the middle of the city. October 11, 1969, around 9:55 p.m. San Francisco. Cab driver Paul Stine was about to finish his shift. He picked up one last passenger from the theater district. This passenger was later identified as the Zodiac. When the cab reached Presidio Heights, Paul Stine was shot in the head. The attacker then took his wallet, his keys, and the torn piece of his bloodstained shirt before leaving the scene. But something very important happened this time. 3 teenagers in a nearby house witnessed the event. They immediately called the police. Their information became the most vital eyewitness testimony in the entire case. But this is also where the biggest mistake of the whole investigation happened. The police dispatcher accidentally described the suspect over the radio as a black man. The actual killer was white. During this time, police officer Don Fook spotted a white man near the crime scene, but because of the wrong information on the radio, he let him go. Later, this incident went down in history as one of the biggest police failures in American crime. 2 days after the murder, the San Francisco Chronicle received another letter. This time, inside the envelope was a piece of Paul Stine's bloodstained shirt. The police investigation confirmed that this piece belonged to the exact shirt Paul Stine was wearing at the time of the murder. Now there was no doubt left that the person sending these letters knew everything about the murder. 4 attacks, 5 official murders, 2 surviving witnesses, phone calls to the police, letters to the newspapers, and now bloody evidence. But Zodiac wasn't done yet. November 8, 1969, Zodiac sent another mysterious code. This time, it was even harder. It had a total of 340 symbols. Police, cryptography experts, and people all over the world tried to read it for decades, but nobody succeeded. And 51 years later, in 2020, David Oranchak and his team successfully cracked this code. According to research, in this message, Zodiac wrote that he hoped people were having fun trying to catch him, and that he was not afraid of the gas chamber. The FBI officially confirmed that this cipher was solved in 2020. Even after 1969, Zodiac sent several more letters. These included threats to blow up school buses. After 1974, no new authenticated letters ever came from him. The investigation into this case was handled by multiple agencies working together. Thousands of people were questioned. Several suspects were investigated. Handwriting was analyzed, and weapons were tested for ballistics. But they never found a single piece of evidence that could definitively prove one man was the killer. During the investigation, one name came up more than any other: Arthur Leigh Allen. The police searched his home several times. He lived in Vallejo. He owned Wing Walker military boots, which matched the boot prints found at the crime scenes. One person even claimed that Allen had expressed a desire to kill people and called himself Zodiac. The suspicion was incredibly strong, but the investigation revealed some major issues. Allen's handwriting did not match the Zodiac letters. The fingerprints found in the cab didn't match his either. And in 2002, a partial DNA profile pulled from the letters didn't match him at all. That is exactly why he was never officially declared the Zodiac Killer. Some people believe he was the Zodiac. Others believe that because the methods of the crimes were so different, more than one person might have been involved. Some even say that the fingerprints on the cab might not have belonged to the killer at all. If that is true, then the investigation was headed in the wrong direction from the very beginning. Today, this case remains officially unsolved. The case was closed in 2004, but reopened in 2007. Zodiac claimed in his letters to have murdered 37 people, but the police only ever officially linked 5 murders to him. Today, his name is listed among America's most mysterious and unsolved cases. His true identity could never be proven. The truth might be hidden in some old document or in a piece of evidence that hasn't even come to light yet. But for now, this mystery remains a mystery. What do you think? Was the Zodiac Killer really Arthur Leigh Allen? Or have the police been chasing the wrong man all these years? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoy well-researched true crime documentaries like this, please like the video and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.